product provided by Nintendo. Over 15 years have passed since Wii Sports changed everything by demonstrating the power of motion control gaming in an affordable format. As a pack-in title, it cemented the Wii as the system for all ages, 5 to 95 years old, and confirming it with charming promo videos like this one.
Nice shot!
Oh, wow!
So much so that it, with the Mii's, got 2 more games. The even better Wii Sports Resort with the timeless Woohoo Island, and the somewhat black sheep of the Wii Sports series, Club. Anyway, with the success of Ring Fit Adventure in 2019, Nintendo with the poster boy Shinya Takahashi and the Switch and Mario Master Yoshiaki Koizumi revealed Nintendo Switch Sports, the spiritual successor to Wii Sports. But is it a worthy continuation? And does it have enough content to ask players for the entry fee for a game with 6 sports at launch? Let's find out in this brutally honest review of Nintendo Switch Sports, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell for more reviews like this one. Gameplay. Nintendo Switch Sports is the first title on the system that takes advantage of AMD FSR upscaling, but to be completely honest, it is hard to notice it when playing the game, since Switch Sports does not go back to the ambition of Woohoo Island found in Sports Resort, and thus marking for a rather limited experience, at least from a single player standpoint. Instead, the local and online multiplayer are what make this game, but even those aren't on the same level. With the local multiplayer, you have slightly more options like additional modes in both football and bowling, but it is a far cry from those found in Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports Club. There aren't any achievements, goals to shoot from, or records that will be kept. This means that it is mostly about playing the sports and a few minigames straight up. Simply put, what the local multiplayer lacks is extras to keep you going outside of the meat and potatoes. For instance, you cannot change how long you play football, which is baffling to say the least. But yeah, from our small synopsis you will notice one thing: there isn't much in the way when it comes to single player content, which stands in contrast to the previous games in the series. There isn't anything in the way of activities. If you want the most out of the game, you will need to play locally or well online. And that online multiplayer is a two-way street. On one hand, you can go up against others in online lobbies to earn points and get some nice unlockables along the way. And with that being said, you're constantly rewarded for playing, even if you have to do it in the boundaries that the game sets. Friend lobbies, for instance, should have been better. You can't use the friend invite system, CPUs will be added to fill up certain games, and you can't go online as a singular football squad. Could you imagine how cool that would be? But no, Nintendo wants to keep the online realm restricted, despite the strides made in other games. It's weird, and that weirdness needs to lie down and think about what it did. The sports themselves though, absolutely great. I have to say that all 6 sports are a lot of fun in their own specific way. Football is grand, offering 1-on-1 or 4-on-4 in friend and local lobbies play. It isn't unlike Rocket League, mixed with some regular sporting tropes. Your sight focuses on the ball, and the ball alone, making the view of the game constantly dynamic. Meanwhile, you can still pass or press yourself forward for some silly tricks. Really not bad. In a similar vein, we were really surprised by volleyball and badminton. They feel like nothing on the surface, but once you get really into it, there are aspects and details that really make it all tick. Badminton, for instance, uses the precise motions of the Joy-Cons to keep your movements constantly in check, completely removed from any waggle routes, while Chambara and tennis are equally enjoyable and follow the formats of what made them great before in the previous installments. That being said, survival bowling is honestly the most novel thing this game includes. Absolutely stellar stuff as you duke it out online in a battle royale fashion where you outwit foes and friends alike. And it brings us over to the motion controls. Speaking of badminton and how the Joy-Con functions, the overall impression of the controls are strong. You really can waggle your controller around and hope for a decent result, which simply isn't happening. Bowling, for example, now takes far more of your wrist movement into account. Tennis strikes need to be hard-hitting and precise, and to the point to make them function. And Chambara really feels one-to-one. You really need to focus on the movement of your opponent to find the perfect time to strike. Football feels a bit more underplayed in this regard. Movement on the right Joy-Con will allow you to do various kicks, but the left controller sees you using a more standard control format to move the character across the screen. The leg strap offers some immersion, but you can only use it in shootouts, not within regular matches. And truth to be told, functionality is what Switch Sports is going for, and that makes the controls in this game very well rounded, no matter which of the games you play.
Actually, your line is controlled by your actual body movements. This is too cool.
But if there's one point where this game truly nails it, then it is music. already an instant classic, blending the nostalgia of Wii Sports and adding so much more that it can easily get stuck in your brain, and as you have heard throughout this video, the music in this game does not disappoint. It is Nintendo quality through and through, and does exactly what you expect it to do in a Nintendo Switch sports game. It gets you in the right mood and ready to claim victory. What makes the music of Nintendo Switch Sports so great is their scale. Under normal circumstances, music is just played in the regular way and pumped out at full volume. No doubt, music is part of the aesthetic here, feeling like they are blasted out of speakers while playing full in replays. The soundtrack features mostly cheerful music, with tunes that go hard one way or another. Tennis is a particular favorite as it changes the pitch and tone as you play. And in many ways, all of the tracks do it in a way that represents the sports so that you feel that they go well together, and that is admirable. It all sounds very strong. But sadly, there are quite a lot of pitfalls in this game, which brings us over to the lack of content. No golf until the fall, all that needs to be said, one of the key sports that was present throughout the Wii Sports trilogy. And yes, the sports selection might be a little bit underwhelming, but there's still more than at launch with Wii Sports Club. So no doubt this is a slight improvement. But I just sit with this feeling that it was a missed opportunity to not offer us any hole-in-ones in Switch Sports until likely September, which with its limited number of sports at launch is probably a point in time when most players are done with Switch Sports and are busy playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon 3. Golf was needed at launch, period. The same goes with several other missing modes such as the 100-pin challenge for bowling and the charm of the Miis, including challenging the notorious Matt. The original charm, as we have pointed out, is not fully there for single player or local multiplayer, and with a revival of a series that is so heavily tied to non-online home or even retirement home play, it is a shame that the non-online portion leaves more to be desired. We simply wish that this title was next level with solid online and plenty of customization options on top of it, but sadly, nope. This title is another missed sports game opportunity on the Switch that could have stepped up the game just like we have seen with nearly every other Nintendo franchise on the Switch. Sadly, this is not the case, and we still have to wait for Mario Strikers to get them. Indeed, this game feels closer to the 69 we gave Mario Golf Super Rush at launch in June 2021 than a solid high 80 score, and not even close to the value of 2020's 51 worldwide games / Clubhouse games. We simply expected more at launch, and we hate to say it, but it isn't better than for instance Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. In fact, there's more variety of sports, and also modes in the official Tokyo 2020 Olympic video game on the Switch, as it has far more sports and the same great customization to offer. With that in mind, our final score for Nintendo Switch Sports at launch is a 73 out of 100. The quality of the gameplay and controls of the sports present are on par with the prior Wii Sports trilogy, but truth to be told, not exactly on the same level as Resort and Club. If you're on the fence when it comes to this game, then wait to dive in until Golf has been added this fall. And I hate to say it, but this is sadly the weakest Nintendo Switch game we ever reviewed so far in 2022, and we really have to go back to Mario Golf Super Rush to find another game that is as underwhelming at launch. It is a good game, though not a great one, and we simply expected more than solid controls and added online for our favorite Wii Sports games. What do you think of Nintendo Switch Sports? Will you get the game now, or are you waiting for at least a free Golf DLC? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe to Commonwealth Realm as we are pushing for 300,000 subscribers. Less than 3,000 left to go, plus press that notification bell to not miss any of our upcoming brutally honest reviews. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons, and in particular, role producer Charles Shash. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.